Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm giving you advice on how to pick the best family to au pair for. I am going to list as much help as I possibly can, but there are so many things to cover. That's why this is like one whole video, just picking a family to au pair for. Grab a pen and paper and write this stuff down so that when you're talking to the families or your potential families that you're interviewing with, you can ask them all these questions or look for these answers to these questions in their profiles. So let's just get right into it. I literally have a list. I'm not going to try and memorize it. Okay, so this is in no particular order. Them to pay for your flight, or will you pay for your own? So a lot of families will pay for your flight there and a lot of families won't. It all depends on if you have the money to, if they have the money to, blah, 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 blah. It's like pretty complicated, or it doesn't have to be complicated at all. I personally paid for my own flight, didn't ask them, didn't even think it was like an option really, didn't care. Okay, transportation. Do they have a car for you? This is very important. There's so many little things that go into this. Transportation. Do they have a car for you? Do they have a bike for you? Do they have a moped for you? Are they going to give you like rollerblades? This is probably one of the major things that a lot of people get screwed over by. They'll say that they like live near public transportation when really it's like a 2-mile walk to the bus stop. Like, this is something that you need to ask them and you need to be firm on. If they say that they're giving you a car to use, when are you giving me the car to use? What days? What days are you using the car? Do you have an extra car? Does your family have 3 cars, 1 car, 2.5 cars? Also, you're gonna be driving a car? Cool. Are you comfortable with driving on the wrong side of the road? I personally had to learn how to drive on the other side of the road. Are they willing to teach you how to drive on the other side of the road? That's something that you need to really consider, think about, talk about, and be open about. Ask them about transportation. Know their daily schedule. This is very important. And this will also give you kind of like an insight onto how the family is. You never know how the family is. You could interview these people. Not only are you interviewing them and they're interviewing you, you could be talking to them for 5 months before you make a decision, and you will never know these people until you get there and live with them. So getting to know their daily schedule kind of like helps you figure out like who they are, when you'll be alone, when you'll have alone time, when you'll have the kids. They say that they're working from 8 a.m. to 5, and that's when you're watching the kids. And then she's like, and then after work I go to yoga. And then you're like thinking in your head, well, if you go to yoga after work and you get out of work at 5 and you're saying that I'm only working till 5, well, who watches the kids for that hour? Like, they might not even be doing it on purpose. They just might not be like thinking about it. So you're stuck watching the kids till 6 because she goes to yoga after work. It's really important to know their schedule. So like, ask them what they do for fun, ask them what the kids do for fun, ask them if the kids need driving to sports, literally just ask them thousands of questions. Like, you can't ask them enough questions. Know what's included in your pay package. If they're telling you that they have transportation for you and that it's the public bus, they need to pay for your bus pass. I don't care if the bus pass is 70 Australian dollars. They need to pay for the bus pass. That was the deal. Get it in writing what they're paying for. So they need to pay for transportation, gas, if that's what you agree upon. They should, and they need to pay for your food. There's no reason why that should not be included, like, within your au pair stay. Room and board should be included, regardless if you're living in like the apartment next door or inside the house. Like, I just personally feel like you're going there to be for them essentially like 24/7, like if they really need you, and they need to pay for like where you're living, regardless where that may be. Gas, phone. My family personally paid for my phone card. which is something I didn't even expect them to do. But when I look back on it, yeah, they need to pay for your phone card. They're contacting you, you're contacting them, even sending them pictures like of the kids, like whatever, they should pay for your phone. So the things that I think that they should pay for is your transportation, accommodation, and your phone. Everything else, that's like between you and the family, but it needs to be discussed, it needs to be talked about, it needs to be agreed upon before you like get on that plane. A big thing about picking a family, where does the family live in comparison to things that you want to do, like national parks? Do they live near any place cool that you can hike? I don't know if you're an outdoors person. Do they live near like cool restaurants, bar scene? Do they live near the ocean? Do they live near a lake? Do they live near malls? Where do they live in relation to the kids' school? Are you going to be driving these kids to a private school 30 minutes like every day? That's something to consider. Do they live, how close do they live to like each parent's work in case of an emergency? These are all things that you need to know, so write that down. In regards to picking a family, where will you be living? So I know we kind of like just talked about that a little bit, but where will you be living within the house? Where will you be living on the side of the house, in the basement, upstairs? Like, are you gonna be sleeping every night like next to a newborn baby who wakes up every like 2-3 hours and starts screaming bloody murder? Because you're not going to get any sleep. That's just something to consider and something to ask the family. Establish how much they're paying you. Are they paying you weekly, bi-weekly, like every 2 weeks? And how are they paying you? Are you getting cash? Are they taxing you? Do they expect to like take taxes out of your payment? Tax-free, a check. If they're giving you a check, where are you going to put the money? You're going to like ship it to your parents to put in your bank account at home. You might need to get a bank account there. There's a lot of things to consider with pay. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you should be asking the family before you choose them. I would just really like stick with your intuition when you're talking to them. A lot of families will put on a persona that they are something that they are not, so that when you show up, you're blindsided. That is kind of something that happened to me, which I will be creating a video on if you guys want to watch my personal story. Just really like read into the families when you're talking with them, when you're interviewing with them. Like really read into the things that they say, the things that they do, the way that they react to their children. If you are introduced to the children via Skype before you accept the position, I would 100% ask if you can meet the kids in a Skype session or FaceTime before you commit to the job. These are all questions that you should have answered for you before committing to the job. I know that this video is very straightforward, right to the point and quick, but this is the way that I personally like think that it needs to be and think that it needs to be handled. It's a lot of things to think about and a lot of questions to ask. So I rather just like get them out in the open and get your head thinking about it before you commit to picking a family. Per usual, I hope that this video helped you out. If you like my advice, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any more questions, I will 100% answer them. Comment down below. Love you guys.